Hey, Nick, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, RT?
You gonna offend anyone today?
Blake, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I don't know. You want to talk about some stuff?
no, yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff.
Okay.
We'll see.
I might offend some people.
I don't know. I mean, last week I was trying to hey, we need to have these spiritual disciplines. You're like, don't be fat. It's
Well,
like,
I'm trying to help. Some people need it, more in your face than other people.
I guess.
So,
Maybe you should be a personal trainer.
no,
You don't think?
that's not my strong suit.
For the right person, it may be. Like,
It might be for a person way bigger than me. But, I'm not in the greatest shape.
we don't have to be in great shape to teach it, right?
I guess not. I mean, don't you need to be a believer to be a pastor?
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Man.
But I'm not perfect. As a
Right.
I mean, you know that.
So
We've hung
I
out.
just need to believe that you can lose weight to teach you to lose weight. Don't be fat.
Here we go.
What, you want to talk about ice fishing again?
No, well, you said you may be going ice fishing
Yeah, I
this
might
week.
go ice fishing.
And you've been before.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything.
Have you only been one time?
Yep. That was enough for me to go out and buy all the equipment, though.
I'm sure.
I got the tiny little pole and
Yeah.
a bucket with a seat on it, and
I was just telling you, when I
it's
think
like
of
the-
ice fishing,
I got the scoop to get the ice out of the hole.
I've watched some of those reality shows and stuff about Alaska and things. Where you have the, what would you call it?
Like a
big-
shanty.
I don't know what that is, but
It's like a tent.
yeah, like a tent.
Yeah, ice fishing tent.
A tent, a heater inside it.
We don't have any of that.
You know what I mean? Like you drive your four-wheeler out there.
No. We walk out there,
Yeah.
sit in the elements.
Don't
You
catch
can build a little
anything.
fire on the ice.
You build a fire on the ice?
You can build a fire on there. Oh, we don't. I don't.
No.
And I go with people that are.
I was about to call you dumb, but I guess
I go with people that are quite a bit more insulated than me. So I freeze. They do not. They are well insulated.
yeah.
Yeah. But the good thing is, I send them out on the ice first because their insulation
Yeah.
is more typical to break the ice than my insulation. So it's kind of fun. Because they creep out.
Yeah.
Little
See
baby
if it's
steps out.
cracking. Do you drill through it or anything? See how deep it is before you go out there?
No, I mean, you got to go out there and figure it out.
Seems like there's probably a better way.
Yeah, there is. Let's wait for 10 cold days in a row and then go out there and try it.
Because we've not had that many cold days.
Yeah, not yet. That's why I'm not going out
Yeah.
on the first round with them.
Do you just
Yeah.
cook the fish on the fire right there when you get
Yeah,
it?
that's what they do. They bring a whole bunch of sides and then just cook the fish on the fire. And then, tie a rope around them, send the biggest guy out. And then,
No, you
if
don't.
he, yeah, that's what we do.
You tie a rope around someone.
We tie a rope around his waist and
And you send the biggest guy out?
you wouldn't want to send the smallest guy out. Wouldn't make sense.
I don't know. I could see either way there. But
It'd be easier to pull the smallest guy in, but then you wouldn't know if the ice is strong enough to hold the biggest guy.
yeah,
You know.
let's jump into our material.
Okay.
Now, hopefully you're here next week after ice
We'll
fishing.
see.
You make it back.
Yeah. I'll make it back. I'm not the biggest guy.
Well, are you a good swimmer?
Oh, great swimmer.
Okay.
Yeah. I swim like a fish.
Well, I mean, the cold plunges are all the craze right now.
Man,
Right?
a guy at work's doing that right now.
Does he?
Well, he was until it froze over, but they're going out and sitting in Morse Reservoir for 15 minutes every night.
Oh, so he's doing it like in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just, he's like, I got some shoes and we just put on our swim trunks and we go out, shoulder deep.
Yeah.
And we hang out for 10 or 15 minutes. And he's like, then we come back in. He's like, it's the best thing for you.
I mean,
Not the best thing for me, but
there's a lot of benefits to it. Like
That's-
when you read.
yeah.
Have you done the ice baths? and
no,
stuff?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Have you?
I have one at home.
An ice bath?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I put it in the garage.
Okay. Huh. It's like
Did you
a
not know
kiddie
that?
pool with you just
It's-
put a couple bags of ice in it?
Basically, it's insulated. It's kind of like it's pretty small.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I didn't want to get a good one in case I don't stick with it.
yeah.
So, but I decided I want to try doing ice baths every couple days.
Okay. See, I thought about it,
Yeah.
but it'd probably be like a 60-degree bath. That's probably where I'd start. And
Yeah.
I'd probably just never go below that.
So mine doesn't have like a cooler to keep it cold. I got to throw ice in it.
Okay.
They have the fancy ones that you got to, they to stay cold.
Huh.
Yeah, so mine, I throw a couple bags of ice in
Is
it.
this how you lost all that weight?
No,
Oh, I was going to say maybe I'll try, but
No.
maybe not.
I think it helps with weight loss. I think this helps my mental clarity
Really?
and some other things.
Oh, make me think I'm cold. I need to get out of here.
Well, it does, but then you got to sit in there for 2 minutes, whatever your time is.
Yeah. How long do you sit in it?
I try to work up, so started 15 seconds was
Yeah.
good. So I can go.
See, I would feel like I just wasted my money on this thing. I sat in it for 15 seconds.
Yeah, but then you try to go longer next time.
Okay.
So I can go a couple minutes. You can come over and try it out if you want.
Yeah,
It's in
we'll
the
see.
gym in the garage.
Yeah, I've seen your
Um,
gym. That looks nice.
Yeah, so now in the corner of it, there sets this little ice bath thing.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'll buy some new ice and throw it in there.
I'll bring my own.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting an ice machine because
Yeah, you're gonna need it.
I keep going have to buy the ice and
Okay.
yeah, I don't. It's pretty. I'm trying to picture like you trying to like fit in it. It's the only thing. Like,
Yeah, I'm guessing like you bought one for your size person.
well, I mean, it said
And
you can be up to 6'4".
it's like my knees are gonna stick out of it like they do
You're
in
not
every
over
bathtub.
6'4", are you? Are you 6'4" exactly?
I think 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, so you'd fit. Yeah.
Okay.
Next time, can we do a podcast from there? Just throw a.
I don't think it works remote, so you know.
We
It'll work.
we figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right,
All right.
let's jump into it.
Be like the time I got baptized when y'all were trying to do the ice bucket challenge that day.
Trying to get you in a horse trough.
He didn't go all the way under.
Do
Got to
it
do it again. Man.
All right.
Anyway.
So I thought today we'd just talk briefly about Samuel's farewell speech from the Bible.
Okay.
This is an interesting passage.
It is.
So the people of Israel, they wanted a king.
Right.
So they kept asking God for a king, and then God's like, okay, I'm going to give you a king. Saul's going to be their king.
Yeah.
So Samuel's like the prophet guy he'd been speaking and doing a lot of things,
Yeah.
and kind of man in charge.
Well, they
in
kind of
some
had
ways.
what judges.
Mhm.
Is kind of how they
Yeah, judges.
dealt with things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you get here is Samuel's farewell speech.
Right.
So he's getting ready to
Step down.
ride out into the sunset.
And bring Saul. He's gonna kind of demote himself or
Yeah.
decrease himself and then increase Saul.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, presidents give farewell speeches.
They do.
Great
ones.
Well, George Washington gave the first one.
Oh, yeah.
So he gave one. And, he's a guy that probably could have kept going on. Not probably. He could have kept going on being president.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I got to step down. Like, this
Right.
is what's good for the country.
Yeah.
It's what they need. And he gives his farewell speech. And
Wouldn't that be a tough position?
for George Washington?
Well, I mean, for anybody, really. I mean, you're in charge of a country,
Mm-hmm.
and then you feel like what you've done is great,
Yeah.
and then to actually have to step down and let somebody else kind of take those reins. I mean, that'd be tough.
I think it's hard. Yeah.
Probably in any position, really.
That's what I was thinking. Like, even if you own a company
Yeah.
or you've worked in a certain job for a long time, like, I think stepping down is tough.
Yeah.
I used to, and I've grown in this because I used to think, like, why won't that old guy step down?
Right.
Especially like me, I'm in the pastor world. So there's
Yeah.
some pastors like, it's probably time to hang it up, man. You're saying some dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
You got friends like Nick.
but then like, no, I think it is because a lot of your sense of meaning's there
Yeah.
and you've worked hard in that
Well,
organization.
like a sense of worth, and that's kind of
Yeah.
where you draw a lot of people draw their sense of worth from their work or from, things that they do.
Yeah.
And, that'd be a tough one to step down.
Yeah.
Like we had Mayor Buckley on here recently.
Yep.
And, he was I think he's in a transition period or
Yeah.
was in a transition
Yeah,
period
he didn't
of stepping
resign.
down and,
Yep.
and hopefully, the person that he got behind has got kind of the same views and things that
Yeah.
he was working on. But I mean, that'd be a tough deal.
Yeah, I thought about that with him. Like, I think it would, like, he worked really hard for the city he was mayor of
Yeah.
and seen a lot of change, a lot of good things happen. Then all of a sudden one day you're like, I'm no longer mayor.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now what? So whatever organization you're with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we see that with Samuel.
Right.
We see him stepping down. So what I want to do is just kind of, let's read through this passage and just point
All right.
out a few things that he said
Let me
there.
do a couple verses.
Yeah, start with verse 1, 2,
Okay.
I guess.
And Samuel said to all of Israel, Behold, I have obeyed your voice and all that you have said to me, and have made king over you. And now behold, the king walks before you, and I am old and gray, and behold, my sons are with you. I have walked before you from my youth until this day.
Yeah, so that's just him saying, hey, I've been leading. I've been
Yep.
out front. You guys have been seeing my life. I'm old and gray, looking like Nick.
Well, and I like that he says, my sons are with you.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm stepping down and appointing my sons over you.
Yeah.
I'm not appointing them, as a lot of people would do.
Yeah.
To appoint, kind of like a monarchy would do. They would,
Yep.
appoint their sons to be in charge next. And it's like, my sons are with you. My sons are, they're also going
Yeah.
to go through this next leadership with you.
Yeah. And I think you see Samuel saying there, like in those first 2 verses we read, and really the next couple as well, is that, hey, I've had a good relationship with God and a good relationship with you guys.
Yeah.
I've lived a life of integrity.
Yep.
Like, I've lived before you.
Right.
You've seen everything that I've done. So it's like what I said matched
What I did.
what I did.
Yeah, or who I was.
Who I was.
Yep.
And so I've lived this life of integrity. And so you guys have seen this.
Yeah.
And so I think when you get to the end of your life, or you get to the end where you're stepping down, you're giving your farewell speech or retiring, like what a testimony to be able to stand up and say, hey, you guys have seen how I lived.
Yeah.
You've been able to watch me now for 30 years
Yep.
or how many ever years it was with Samuel. And what I said on Sunday in the pulpit matched how I lived Monday through Friday or
Yeah.
Monday through Saturday.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about something earlier too. Is like, we're kind of three people. We are what we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
You are who you think you are.
Yeah.
I am, you are what I think you are.
Yeah.
And then you are what the rest of the people see that you are.
Yep.
And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of what he's saying here is, I've said who I am and I've acted this way, and you can attest that I am this person.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you want to read verse 3 and 4?
Yeah, here I am, testify against me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose donkey have I taken, or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or from whose hands have I taken a bribe to blind my eyes with it? Testify against me, and I will restore it to you. They said, you have not defrauded us, or oppressed us, or taken anything from a man's hand.
Man, I love these two verses.
I do too.
So he stands up for all these people and is like, hey, tell me, who didn't I treat well out there?
Right.
Like, did I steal from you?
Yep.
Did I, use my position to take advantage of you
Right.
to get money?
Yeah, did I take bribes?
Take bribes?
And they just come back and say, no, you didn't steal from us. You didn't take bribes. You
Yeah. And
You
he's
know.
like, and if I did, hey, I'm gonna restore it right now.
Yeah.
But to be able to stand up and be able to say that openly to all the people.
No kidding.
I mean, think about one of our politicians. You can think about any
Which
of them.
one?
I'm not even going to name it. I don't even have to name a name.
You don't.
They get done after serving in Congress or the Senate for
Yep. I've
70
never
some
heard one
years.
stand up there and say, have I not taken bribes? Have I not stolen
Yeah.
from you? Have I?
Stand before our country and say, hey, tell me,
Yeah.
did I not treat all of you well?
Right.
Did I take anything from like,
And definitely not that I'm going to restore it if
and
I
I'll
have.
restore it? Did I use my authority to take advantage of any of
Yeah.
you? And Samuel does that.
Remember,
right?
if you like your insurance, you can keep it.
Listen, we could just keep going down the path.
Yeah. Sorry,
going
it's a
down
big
the
one that
path.
stuck with me.
Yeah, that. But he's like, did I not treat you well?
Right.
And so what a legacy at the end to be able to stand up and say, hey, I've been there for you.
Yeah.
I've taken care of you. I've done it from the right motives out of serving God.
Right.
I haven't tried to take advantage of you.
Well, and then look at all the people that are like, yeah, you're right. You have.
Yeah, that's what they say, how do people respond.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's so much to learn from his farewell
Yeah.
speech. Like, we could dive into this even deeper.
I'm thinking about when you retire and you hand over
Yeah.
pastoral leadership. I'm going to help you write your speech of only truths.
Yeah.
There'll be no lies in there.
I spoke at my dad's retirement ceremony,
Did
and
you?
I actually used this passage
Okay.
at the church he pastored for 30-some years.
Yeah.
And I kind of applied it to him because he wouldn't do it for himself, of
Yeah.
course. So I stood up on that first one and said something very similar to how we said of.
How many donkeys did your dad steal?
I used the King James version
yeah,
with
yeah,
my dad,
okay.
and that was intentional because he preferred the King James,
Yeah.
and this led to some better conversations
Yeah.
in this. But I kind of applied to his life, like, hey, 30 years like serving this church, did his life match what he preached? And
Yeah.
I said, as his son, I can tell you that one reason I think I still walk with God and my sister still walks with God when a lot of pastor kids go a different direction is because what my dad said on Sunday in the pulpit is how he lived Monday through Saturday. Now, my dad said some dumb stuff Sunday in the pulpit, but that's just who he was.
Yeah.
Like, there was no question, like, that's who you got. There was
Yep.
he wasn't fake. So that's what I get with Samuel here. He's like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and so did I not treat you well? And so my dad, the same way I kind of applied to that, I was like, hey, can anybody here say that he did it for the money? Because he made $15,000 a year when he started in I think it was like 80 some at that
Yeah.
church. And when he retired, he still made $15,000 a year.
Gotcha.
It's like, so he's
Didn't
not
do
getting
it for the
rich.
money.
Not doing it for the money.
Yeah.
He didn't get any extra things. Like, can anybody say anything like that? And
Yeah.
like, there's no, like, of course, no one could say anything. So,
Right.
yeah.
Sorry, man. I was thinking about before we started this how we were talking about we like to make jokes about our dads
Yeah.
now that they're both deceased and how not everybody responds to it
No.
well.
No.
And we think it's funny, but
Yeah.
not everyone else does.
Yep.
We're not telling it, Blake. Not the joke.
All right. So the third thing, I think if you go down to verse 7.
Yeah. Maybe we do.
Yeah. Go to read verse 7.
Now, therefore, stand still, that I may plead with you before the Lord concerning all the righteous deeds of the Lord that he performed for you and for your fathers.
So what you see Samuel doing, like, it's his retirement speech. And so he's saying like, hey, I took care of you guys. I didn't take bribes, those type of things. But then he immediately is concerned with like where they're heading. So he's still pointing people to God or pointing people to the cross.
Right, but he's pointing people towards God, but people are wanting a king,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And they're wanting someone else to look up to.
yeah. I think Samuel's concern was exactly that. That
Yeah, I think
you're
so
going to
too.
start looking to King Saul
Right.
instead of King Jesus.
Yep.
And so I want you to know as I'm leaving, I don't need a platform. I don't care if you guys remember Samuel, but
Right.
you remember God who Samuel served.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there was genuine concern there for them wanting a king.
Yeah.
You
Well, and I
know,
think what's interesting, like we live in a culture where everyone wants to build their own platform,
right.
right? They want to get famous. They want everyone to remember their name. Like,
Yeah.
the reality of the gospel is like, hey, we preach to others. We want them to remember Christ and what he did for them,
Right.
but we can be forgotten.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's great if you remember how RT delivers that message, but you need to make sure you remember the message.
yeah. I mean, I love when I hear people say, I've heard this a few times. Someone's like, man, I heard a sermon once and they'll say something. It's like, I can't remember where I heard it from.
Yeah.
And I know it's something I said.
Great.
But they don't give me credit for it because they honestly can't remember. But
Yeah.
that it made a difference in their life from
Right.
looking at that text. I'm like, that's a win for me as a pastor. If
Yeah.
you don't remember I said it, but you're applying that principle.
Yep.
Now there is like the flesh, like the human side, right? That can seep in. Like,
Right.
no, I said that.
Yeah, I said that.
I mean, I probably stole it from some
Yeah,
other pastor.
give
but-
credit where credit is due, okay?
But yeah, but Samuel's like, man, forget about me. Like, look to the cross.
Yep.
Look there.
Yep.
The next thing that we really see it in Psalm 99, which you don't have to turn there if you don't want, but
Good.
it mentions Samuel there by name that he's calling on the Lord and praying for people.
Yeah.
It's Psalm 99:6, I think. So, but that Samuel is known for prayer and known for praying for people.
Yep.
And so that's just a great legacy, I think, for us to have as well. Like
Yeah.
when we come into life, like people, it's like, man, I know that you prayed for me, and I know you're going to continue to pray for me even
Yep.
though you can't be around. So,
Well, something else to think about too is, God's going to give them a king.
yeah,
So why is he going to give them a king? Is it to teach them a lesson? And,
Yeah.
maybe it's not working to get them to think that they don't need a king. They just need to look to God. And maybe he's going to give them a king to show them that,
yeah,
this is not indeed what you needed.
yep,
So I don't know, just something else I was thinking about with that.
yeah. No, I agree.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the last thing I wrote down, this like the importance of a legacy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we think about that enough. Like, what kind of legacy do we want to leave as men?
Yeah.
Do you think about it?
No, I don't.
I don't either very often.
What kind of legacy would you want to leave?
I mean, I guess I do think about it some.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that I like when I read this account of Samuel, what stands out to me is how he's really like pointing people to God and trying to get out of the way,
Okay.
which I think is a great legacy to
Yeah.
see that. Like, so for me as a pastor, I hope to stay at this church forever that I'm at, but no matter what church I'm at, like that, I'm just a good steward of that resource, that leadership ability
Yeah.
or responsibility I have for a short time. Then I turn it over to someone else and get out of the way.
Yeah.
And I hope that, I guess in my legacy, I would hope that they stand on my shoulders and go further than I did.
Yeah.
Like that we set a foundation
Right.
where they're able to build on that and take it further.
Yep.
And I think that's wherever we find ourselves in life, right?
Okay.
How about you?
I think that, one of the biggest things I think of is I think I would want people to see that I was a believer and that I could be a leader in that
Yeah.
and someone that they could look up to and ask questions to and someone that would give, anything that I've got to anyone else. But above all else is, not to remember me, but to think about the things that I following
Yeah.
God. And, and just to even ask questions about why was he into that?
Yeah.
Why did he think that was the right path to go on? Just enough, if it's just enough to spark a conversation or just to get enough to get them thinking about, okay, he believed in this so firmly, maybe there's something behind it.
Yeah. I think that's important because I think one of the things missing right now in our generation is godly old men.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and I think it's godly old men that can relate to younger men.
yeah, godly old men willing to invest in others.
Yeah.
because like if you look out there right now and you think, who do I look at that's 70 years old and think I want to be like him?
Yeah.
And that 70-year-old's willing to invest in you.
Right.
And there's not, I think in Christianity as a whole, like we're missing that in some ways. Like I think the baby boomers, maybe they've been busy with some other things and not feeling like they need to invest yet.
Right.
And then the younger generations maybe not reaching out enough, but there's just that disconnect, I think, where we don't have, and I think we have godly old men. I'm just not sure that they're
connecting with the younger men
sometimes.
or the
And I
younger
know some
generation.
places that's happening well, I'm sure.
Right.
I think overall, I think we need
Yeah,
some
when I look
godly
at my
men.
local community, I don't think it's happening enough.
Yeah. But then we talked on Gideon this past Sunday.
Yeah.
And one of the things, a lot of things stand out in that story, but one of the things that stand out, Gideon's like, but you did this with my grandfathers and you moved with my father's generation. So he's saying, hey, if the old people, they were really godly and doing things, and I seen you moving, he goes, where are you now? And then God looks at Gideon and he's like, well, that's why I'm here, because that's you.
Yeah.
So I think some of it comes down on us,
For sure.
like our age, like, hey, we should be investing next generation.
Yeah.
We're going to be the old men soon.
Right.
We are getting gray. We
Silver.
are getting older. Silver.
Yeah. So
So, at one point, did we start taking that on ourselves to
Right.
invest in the next generation?
Yep.
I don't know. So that's kind of been my thought. Is like at some
Yeah.
point I want to step down maybe from the day to day.
Yeah.
But be very intentional in my old age of investing in the next generation.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is hard.
Yeah, I didn't think about it from the point of Gideon.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, maybe we're at that age where we're supposed to be investing in the next generation.
Yeah.
And are we doing it?
Yeah. Well, because you become old quick.
Yeah.
Like life goes so quick, and you turn around, and you
Yeah.
think I'm not old, but then to someone half your age, you're pretty old.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I hear it every day.
I do as well.
Yep.
I do as well. All right. Anything else on this?
I don't think so.
This has been fun to look at.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We
Thanks,
got
guys.
we got a guest coming up.
Oh,
Pretty
nice.
excited about. Yeah. I'll announce it next week.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
All right. All right. See you later, Nick.
Yeah, see ya.
Thanks for joining us on
Oh,
Tough
yeah.
Men of Faith.
Check it out on YouTube.
Yep.
Subscribe it and like it. And we'll see you next time.
See you.